Welcome to LeonCo and welcome to your weekly financial news. Welcome to LeonCo and welcome to your weekly financial news. And on this week's video, we have something very particular to discuss. Yes, if you've been following the stock market this past few weeks, you've been noticed that we've been on sorts of a roller coaster ride. We started out the year on very big highs, then slowly but surely we've been going down thanks to this pandemic that we're facing, especially on March 23rd when the stock market crashed, when we hit that bear market. But since then, as the government and the federal government have been working towards finding and building on treatments to face and fight this pandemic, and thanks to everybody that's been supporting our health professionals and doing their part, the stock market has been rallying back up. But there's something very particular that's been happening throughout these couple of days. If you've been noticing, the stock market has been rallying up in a big way. Since the opening on Monday, the stock market has been rallying up. It's basically going up as if we are heading into a bull market again. This is something sort of an anomaly, you might say, because it is not something normal that you could hit a bear market very strongly and in less than a month you can hit a bull market. This is something that is not normal. This is something that necessarily has not been seen before. But there are two things that can happen in the market as per se. Some financial experts believe that we are heading into a bigger crash. Yes, just like when it happened in 2008 with the big crash in the market. We saw that we hit a bear market, we rallied a little back up, and then we crashed again. Some believe that this is exactly what we are heading to, that we just hit the bear market, we rallied a little back up because people sense a security, and then we are pummeling back down to hit new lows. This is one of the routes that could happen, or the second route that could happen is that since the federal government has been giving up so much stimulus, they have been stimulating companies, they have been giving money back to people, they are giving this sense of security that things and the economy will stabilize, that the stock market will actually go back up into normality. This is not a normality as we saw at the beginning of the year when everything was very high, the stock market was very frugal, but we are going to begin normalizing and rallying back up. The reality is that none of us know exactly what is going to happen. But there are some indications that you can follow, and there are some alternatives that you can use to be safe. The reality is that the federal government is giving lots and lots of stimulus, but this does not mean that this could be a favorable thing for the stock market. Why? Because unemployment rate is soaring at an all-time high these days, because people are stuck in their homes, they're not in their jobs, they need to file for this unemployment just to get ends meet until the federal government stimulus checks kick in. And especially if you've been following how the stimulus has been working for these couple of weeks, if you do not have direct deposit, you will be receiving a check through mail, and that check could take weeks and even months just to get to your household. Depending on the amount of household income that you have, is the time that you have to wait for your stimulus check to get home. So if you have a bigger salary, the more you have to wait. If you have a low salary, the less time you have to wait. So all of these things come into the table when it comes to what will happen eventually to the economy of the United States. But in the other hand, if things turn out well, if we find a treatment for this pandemic, chances of going back into that wheel of the economy, starting it back again, the chances are that they could be very high. The reality is that we are not fortune tellers. The stock market is something that is very volatile. We can anticipate some things, but the reality is that when we are facing an external object, an external conflict with the stock market, it's very difficult to foresight what is going to happen. We suggest that you prepare. If you are continuing investing in this bear market, continue your process of your normal investing, expanding your portfolio, but prepare yourself that we could hit a bigger low. Do not panic when we hit this bigger low, because this is something that most experts believe this is something that's going to happen, but finger crossed that it's something that we can expand upon and necessarily leave this in the past. So be prepared for everything that can happen, because companies are starting to adapt to employees working at home. They are starting to see if they necessarily need the amount of employees to get their jobs done that they are having in this day and age. So all of these things are going to come in fruition throughout these couple of weeks. So stay tuned, stay on the loop on what is happening in the stock market. Try to stay calm as much as you can, stay healthy, stay safe, but always remember to have that king mentality.